Good morning, Gail. How are you? Thanks for joining me today. Hi, Janet. Good morning. Also, thank you guys for watching the Rainbow Stamper the other day. He was really surprised that people actually missed him. So I think that's funny. You know how kids are. I was actually watching a video the other day because I watch a lot of demonstrators videos, and it was kind of funny because this video really wasn't even that old. It was back in the time of Lucky Limeade, which really isn't terrifically old, and they were using a Fiskars trimmer. So we haven't even had this trimmer that long, but we will be getting a new trimmer soon. So just in case, that's the reason you see me still using mine, because I do have a Fiskars trimmer as well, but I've gotten really used to this one, so I'm looking forward to the new one coming out when it finally does. He is cute. You know, if you go back and watch some of the older videos, Gail, he's actually a lot funnier because I don't know if he's just like older and doesn't want to talk, but he used to explain stuff because I guess he would hear me saying stuff and just repeat it verbatim, which was pretty hilarious. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Donna. Good morning, Yvonne and Tammy. Hey, Tammy, thanks for stopping in. So today, I just have a couple little things to share with you. We're going to decide. I have been making a lot of videos this week. I did all my DSP videos in case you have a question about maybe what something looks like. They're all on YouTube. They're all really short, so you can watch them. I just basically tell you what color goes with what paper. And I showed you all the papers in case you didn't get them. And also good news, all the holiday DSP is back in stock as of this morning. So I know Brightly Gleaming was kind of going to the back order, but I did get a notification today because I picked, which one was it? First Frost. Feels Like Frost. Feels Like Frost paper is back in stock as well, which I just finalized my order yesterday, so I figures. Usually that's what happened. If I would have waited, it wouldn't be in stock. See, you're saying getting older. That kind of makes me a little sad. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. So the Feels Like Frost and the Brightly Gleaming Designer Series paper are both back in stock. So I've been watching a lot of videos, and like I watched Dina Rico's video the other day, which was really cute, and it's a good idea. It was the Simple to Stunning Sundays, which she takes an easy card and then like a moderate card and then like a fancy card. And that's a really great idea to do that, because especially if you're a newer stamper, or maybe you just don't feel like you have a lot of ideas. Also another cool idea, not to send people elsewhere, because people be like, why are you telling people to go to other people's sites? But I get ideas from everyone as well. So Dawn Griffith also does a sketch challenge, which is pretty cool because then you can see ideas to make cards. And speaking of, let me grab my card. I didn't grab it. Hear all the crazy birds out there. I still have my, and this is the first one I grabbed, my card challenge is still up. So if you have made a card like this, so far I only have 2 people who entered, Patty and Diana. So if you've made a card like this does not have to have the same stamp set, but basically just a similar design with the rectangle framelits, and then one is sunken in. Make sure you post a photo of it so I can pick a winner. So far I have 2 ladies who have put cards. I know some other people have asked about it. So please, we'll try and let that go through Friday, and then I'll pick somebody. And also, I did pick 2 people from last week's live. So someone will get the purple posy card, and then I'm going to send another card out to someone else. So those 2 people are Jewel Easterling and Deborah Hedrick. So if you know those people, make sure you tag them here on Facebook. All they need to do is to private message or email me their mailing address so I can send out their cards. So that way we can share some love, share some Stampin' love. And also, I'm going to show you in action since I made it. I'll show it to you on here. The slider card, whoever gave me that suggestion when we were doing the Rainbow Stampers Facebook Live. This slider card worked out super duper cool, so you can see it there. So, great idea. Now, I will tell you, you probably would be a little bit better set up if you do it straight, because it was a little hard to line the classic label punch up, but I kind of figured since it was covered under the net you wouldn't really see, so these 2 are like in 2 totally different positions, but still works cool, so that's pretty fun. And then we did the other ones, and the wobbler card is under here as well, which thanks Donna for the wobblers. I have not stopped using them since you've sent them. So hopefully I can make a card that's not a wobbler card sometime soon, because I think the past 3 cards I've made this week for demonstration purposes or for my blog or whatever, and also there's a blog hop tomorrow, everybody has wobblers in them. So again, tomorrow I am part of a blog hop for Stampin' Friends. So if you stop by my blog, which is rachthestamper.com, you'll see my project and my card. And I did also do a video on YouTube, so if you're a YouTube subscriber, you will get a notification for that. So I do appreciate if you follow me on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. I know it's a lot, and I do try to post a little bit of different things to each, but you can do different features on them, so that's why I try to encourage people to follow, because if you get to 10,000, I believe it is, subscribers on Instagram, you can do other cool things with it. And the same with YouTube is probably my largest following. So I'm able to do a lot of stuff there as well. So I am going to start incorporating some lives on YouTube as well. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, that's another great place to go. I do put videos there that I don't put here on Facebook. And if you click, there's a little bell. If you click it when you, if you engage that, you will actually get a notification every time I put a live video on YouTube. So back to school card. I did not receive a back to school card yet. Maybe it's late. Pamela, I did not see yours on there as well. I'll have to check the them again, unless you just put it on this morning, because I was looking through there. So let's see what else. And a wobbler. So wobblers are these little things. I'm guessing, Donna, if you can tell people where you got them from, I'm sure you can probably get them on Amazon or maybe at a craft store. But what you do is you glue this down, and then you would put something on it, and it just makes them shake. So it's a shaker, and they come in all different sizes. I've been cutting mine down. So she got larger ones the first time. They do make them in all different sizes. So I think that's about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a card either out of the annual catalog if you're already overwhelmed with holiday choices, or we can do the holiday catalog. So I'm just going to watch for what you guys have to say, and we'll do something there. Megan, your dog is sick. I'm so sorry. I hope your dog is doing better. You have a hard time seeing the comments. Okay. You just put it on. That's fine, Pamela. I will check and see. So annual. All right, Sue. Sounds good. Rachthestamper on everything. Yes, on Pinterest, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on my blog. Everything is Rachthestamper. And as a matter of fact, on my blog, I have a home page that you go to, and if you click the link, it'll take you to whatever I am. So thank you, Kathy, for asking that. I appreciate it. Annual catalog. All right, so we're going to do annual catalog. And then I have one Christmas, Donna. I promise, Donna, I will make a Christmas one, and maybe if I can fit some sort of a video in tomorrow, because I potentially would be able to do one tomorrow afternoon. So maybe I can do a Christmas one then, or maybe I'll do it on YouTube. So feels like frost. I want to do that too, but I am still waiting for more paper to come. Okay. So what we're going to do is, let's do something out of this, and let's see. What I'm going to do is this. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to close my eyes and flip, and hopefully whatever I stop at, I'll have something. I will have one of the stamp sets. Hold on. Lost it. Ready? Here we go. Oh, just dropped all my paper. Of course, I don't have the stamp set, but this is the card that Patty made her frame card with, by the way. I do want to get this. It's a beautiful stamp set. Okay, I do have this one. I have Mosaic Mood, but I'm a little embarrassed to say I do not have the stamp set for this, but I do have the paper, so we will do a card with this paper. So this paper, in case you haven't seen it, is it's kind of like embossed and shiny, so you can see it has a shine, and then it has a regular side. I will say I think this is one of the stinkiest designer series paper, like a legitimately stinky paper that I've ever smelled before. But all of the papers have one side that is shiny, and then the other side is a regular. So it's got hummingbirds, and I made cards a while ago with these. These are gorgeous cards with these, and I used the not Magnolia Lane, the other lane, Garden Lane. paper with that. So this all has a really nice embossed side to it. Same thing with the hummingbirds, you can see. So what we'll do is, we'll do 2 cards. And what we'll do is we will use both sides. So we'll do 1 card with one side, and then one card with the other side. So we could either do the flowers and the butterflies, or the hummingbirds and then the mosaic. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. We'll see what we see here. Yes, I am on Eastern time, Megan. I am in Maryland, so we are on Eastern Standard Time. And also, Donna, I saw you said something about Alex Trebek, about sending him cards. And if I'm not mistaken, did he get sicker? Because I thought he was in remission. So is there something I don't know about? You sniffed it too. Yeah, it is super, it's very, very stinky. Yeah, you're right about that, Donna. Hey, Tammy. All right, so we have hummingbirds or we have roses. So, hummingbirds, perfect. 2 people said it. There you go. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and trim a piece of this out. And I'm going to stick with doing a piece that is 3 inches. So, I'm going to go with 3 inches by 4 inches. So we'll kind of stick with that standard pattern that I was telling you about. I was watching Dina create last week, because it does make, for the cool part is you can actually make 3 cards then. So we'll have 1, 2, 3. So you could do 3 cards. So since we have 3 pieces out, we'll do 3 cards. And then what I'll do is we'll pick some names and we'll send one of these cards out when we're finished. Oh, he needs to do more chemo. Oh, that stinks. That poor man. How awful. Pungent. Yes, Tina, that is a very, very good word for this paper. It is very pungent. I'm going to stick with, for the background, mint macaron. And this has more of a vanilla base. So, let's see. I think I have a 3rd piece in here already cut. Perfect. So, I'm going to do 3 cards with this. That way we can send some of them out. So this is already a half sheet here, as you see. So when you have a full sheet of paper, in case you're new, what you can do is you can score it in half. So if you wanted this to be these papers that are this way, what you would do is score it in half, and then you would cut it on the opposite side. I'm going to do this one differently just so you can see the other cut. So you can also score it at 5 1/2. And then turn it to 4 1/4 and cut. So then you'll have 2 tall and skinny, or we call these hot dog cards. And then these are short and wide. These are hamburger cards. So we're going to score this, if this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, we're going to score this at 4 1/4. So then you have the 2 different, you can see the 2 different. So this is 1 full sheet, or if you had 2 of these and you did it the other way, you would have 2 cards out of that. So you can get those card bases out. And then what we'll do is, so one of these I'm going to back with vanilla. I am going to go with thick vanilla, only because I cut out a sentiment, and I'm going to kind of show you a cool way to make, like, I don't want to say like a cheat, but it's a good way to use all of your paper instead of maybe trimming it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this at 3 1/8. You could always make, if you want a thicker border, you could do 3 1/4, but we're going to cut it at 3 1/8. Now let me see. I'm not sure. Probably won't be able to get 3 out of this, which is fine because we're going to use one different one. And then I'm going to cut it at 4 1/8. So we'll back one of these at 4 1/8. So it should layer right on there. It's a very thin layer. You could always make it a little bigger if you'd like. And do this one as well. Okay, and then for one of these, I want to make it a little bit different. So I do still have my scrap here for my sentiment for the 3rd one. What did I do with my 3rd piece? He's here somewhere. I tell you, I lose more things and I haven't even moved. That's the funniest part. Okay, so then for one of these, I'm going to do it with soft suede. Only because I think it will make It really will make the paper stand out. So I'm going to do this one at, let's see, what are we at? 4. So I want to do that. So I want to do 3. This one I'll make a little bigger just so you can see if you were to do it at 1/4 instead. So this one will be 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So that will be a layer, and hopefully I'll find this other piece of paper. So you can see that has a little bit bigger border versus this one, which has a little bit smaller of a border. So since I have this piece out, I'll keep it. This is about 2 1/4 inches by 4. Let's see if this one is 4. Let me do 4 1/4. Trim that down a little bit. We'll do this one, like, we'll kind of do something with that. We'll emboss it or something. And then since I have this other piece out, and what is this? This one we'll do as a skinny piece. So this is 1 inch and 3/16, and we'll do that one by 4 1/4. That just happened to be the size that it was, so that's why I went with that one. It wasn't really intentional. All right, so we have our 3 pieces here. So 1, and I'm gonna do this one, I think, in the background of that. 2, wherever that other one is. We'll go with the background of this one for here. And then 3. And my goodness, what in the world did happen to that other piece of cardstock? Seriously, I am really... I haven't even moved. I'm like legitimately losing it. Did it fly underneath? No? Oh, Lord. Might have to cut another one. Okay, so what we're going to do for this is I'm going to grab a sentiment stamp set. And I'm not alone with losing. So I'm truly, I know this sounds crazy and total sidebar, but I have not moved. I have my feet planted and I haven't gone in, and there's nobody here. So, oh, here it is. Somehow flew on the ground. So there it is. So there you can see the difference between those two. I'm losing my marbles, I swear. All right, so I'm going to grab a couple sentiment stamp sets. Oh, goodness. All right, so these could go either way. So I have one that says happy birthday, which I think is a nice one to be able to use. If we did this way, we might, I'm not sure if we'd be able to fit this one here. That may or may not fit on there, because I always have this one, which I like this Sorry for Everything, but am I the only person that struggles with this Sorry? My stuff never lines up correctly, so that kind of bothers me a little bit. Then we also have the Itty Bitty Wishes, which are just a little small, but we could use them if we wanted to. So I'm going to keep that. Let me grab one more. On the floor. I know it's always on the floor. The last place you look. All right, another one that's always a good one to get, Just Breathe. I think that's a great one. Life is Good with a Friend Like You. We also have, these two have some really nice sentiments as well. Enjoy Life and Beautiful Bouquet. So those are 2 other options in case you are searching for something. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do one of them with Life is Good with a Friend Like You for sure. Happy Birthday, and maybe we'll do one with a smaller sentiment so we can figure out how to set it on there. Kind of how to like adjust it in. So these will be our 3 stamp sets. So these are all available in the annual catalog. This is an old clear mount stamp set. So this one isn't going to stick as well. Photopolymer is obviously very sticky. And then the cling stamp sets, they always work really well regardless. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with one of the bigger ones just so I can kind of show you what we're going to do. So move this over. So for Happy Birthday, this one, of course, doesn't have any sticky on it, so you're going to need to really press this down to pick it up. And I'm going to tell you one thing, if you ever notice that when you clean your stamps, they don't clean really well, or you haven't been able to get, like, say, some ink out of them, it is really worth it to have the stamp cleaning pad. It starts out looking really pretty, but once you actually start using it, it does not look so pretty. But it really works well to clean your stamps, even stamps that maybe you may not have cleaned properly, especially if you're Rachel, because sometimes I don't clean things as well as I'd like to say that I clean things. So even things that might have built up gunk, it does clean really, really well. So keep that in mind. Let me pick this up one more time. You also can retro mount these with the extra cling mount stuff. So keep that in mind as well. So this one, what we're going to do, that was over here. I'm just trying to keep my act together so I know which one I'm doing. So this one is going to back on vanilla, and then we'll have a piece of soft suede behind it. So for contrast, what we're going to do is we'll stamp it in Calypso Coral, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the coordinating color. If you look on the back of your packets, it tells you all the colors that it coordinates with. So it does not really say Calypso Coral, but if I were to bet, that is Calypso Coral for me. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to grab that, and we're going to ink this up. Yes, this new ink pad cleaner, you're absolutely right. It is amazing. I'm going to stamp it in the center. So that turned out really well. And then you could do one of two things. So I did cut one out with, this is the die that goes along with it. This is from the Wild Rose dies. So you can cut this and it still will cover up as long as you have the thin piece. If you have the thicker piece or the little bit wider border, you do have to be a little bit careful. So I'm going to cut this out with this. Have it just slightly askew because of how I have my... So I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. And as long as you keep it centered, you can use this, which basically is just saving you a piece of paper. Instead of covering it up, you can use it. And then what we'll do, my cutting pad is so well used, it didn't want to let go. I know I stamped this a little bit like off. So what we'll do is we're going to add a little bit of something to this just to kind of perk it up. So since I have this die out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, again, because we're not going to use this piece, I'm going to cut two things, but I'm going to make sure I'm very careful about lining these in the center because this is going to cover these over. So kind of just make sure you have them lined up well. I'm going to cut these out of the soft suede background layer. Okay, so there's those. And then I'm going to do one more thing, and you can skip this step, but since we're doing it, it'll kind of make it a little bit more fun. I'm going to put this back through in the Subtles embossing folder and just emboss this. I also did one recently with the wood panel, but I'm going to do Subtles first, and then we could use wood panel for a different one. So just going to put this in. For the Subtles, it's pretty good. It doesn't really make a difference like how you line it up, whereas if you did the wood, you do kind of want to make sure it's straight. And again, when you're doing these with the larger, the thicker embossing folders, these are the 3D embossing folders, you're only going to use your platform, and then you're going to use the thick folder and one cutting pad. That's it. It still will feel a tiny bit tight, and you also want to feed it with the opening open going towards the crank. But when you put them in, it does still feel just a teeny bit tight, but it still works. So we have this. So there we go. So let me show you how we'll put this one together. And let me move this over. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive on the back of my paper. So you do have to be a little bit careful if you're just using the one that's a 1/16 bigger, because it does really need to be precise when it lines up. So this might be the spot where if you wanted to, you could use liquid glue. And then I do have adhesive on the back here, but that's no problem. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some dimensionals just to pop this one up. Oops. And then I'm going to take my embossed, and since this is embossed, it does have a lot of grooves, so I'm definitely going to use liquid glue on this. So just put a little bit of liquid glue, make sure you get a little bit on those spots in between. Okay, so I'm going to put a little liquid glue on that and then lay it down kind of where I think I want it. I don't usually press anything down until I really have decided where I do or don't like it. Then we'll put our layer on top. Kind of make sure you like it. Again, I'm just like lightly setting this to make sure it's straight and everything. Just like that. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to put this on top. For a little bit of something extra, I'm also going to go ahead and grab my mint macaron and hopefully a slightly clean sponge. And I'm just going to sponge the edges. I've noticed that some of the sponges that I've had for 15 years are finally starting to deteriorate. So I've been slowly kind of trying to wean them out, which ones that are kind of getting a little ratty. Like when you use them, little pieces fly off of them. So you can take your pick tool, or I have my old paper piercer handy here, and just pop out these little openings in your leaves. And what we'll do is we'll put one of these on top and one of them behind. You could put this on if you felt like it. You could have run this through with some adhesive sheet on the back so it's already sticky. However, then you'd have a big piece of adhesive on the back of this. So what we'll do is we'll put one kind of in the back and then we'll put one in the front. So what I'm going to do is, just since this is a little bit smaller, is I'm going to grab my silicone craft sheet and my fine tip liquid pen. Oh, thank you, Sue. That's so kind of you, because I feel like sometimes all I'm doing is bumbling around until I create something at the end. So thanks. That makes me feel better. But quite honestly, I think of ideas better. Must just be the way my brain works on the fly, because I'm never great with coming up with something ahead of time and then going through with it. It just doesn't ever seem to work out as well for me. So I like making things this way a little bit better. All right, so we said we'll put one tuck behind. So I'm going to put one back here, even though we're not going to really see that. And then this one, I'm going to kind of wad it up a little bit. And I'm going to stick this on the tip of the leaf. I'm going to put one more, same thing, just to kind of make sure I keep it in place. And I'm going to put one at the top that way. So I'm just kind of rolling them up and then sticking them behind the tip. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put some fast fuse on the back of this. I'm going to place this down like that. The cool part about these are, since we have these things, it'll kind of distract from the fact that that happy birthday is not really necessarily straight, which is fine. And I'm going to tuck this partially under. Oh, I probably should have put a, you know what, I should have put a dimensional behind this one since it's up. So I'm actually going to add that. I'm going to add a little dimensional back here. That looks pretty good. Okay, let me just grab one of those. Let me just close this up. Come on. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these mini dimensionals, and I'm actually going to just cut it in half. And hopefully that will be small enough that it'll fit under there. If not, you could use one of the pieces that kind of goes around the side. Like just a teeny little snip. Yeah, I'm going to need to half this one even. So I'm just going to pop him where that glue dot was. This would also, if you wanted to, be a great time to have used the black ones. That would have been smart of me to pull that one out instead. The black dimensionals, which are cool because they come with a big and a small in the same pack. So there's one card. So again, we use this piece was from underneath of that. So that's a pretty simple one right there. All right, and then the next one, I think we were going to do this on the suede. That way it had a nice contrast. So I'm going to do this one on here. And this one we'll just do as a, I don't want to say a simple card, but we'll do it a little bit simpler. So for this one, what I'm going to do instead of using the soft suede, even just with the fact that the colors mixes, I'm going to do a piece of crushed curry behind it. So I want to just grab that. See if I can find a little strip I might have. Let's see, that should work. That was handy. I'm going to take this one and run it through the hardwood. So if you are more particular, you could do one of two things. You could either make it so the boards run crosswise down, or you could find a spot and kind of line it up so it butts up to it. So if you'll notice, you can kind of find these lines of the wood and just kind of stick it like that and then fold it down. So that's how I'm going to run this one through. So we have our hardwood piece, so that'll go on the background. Oh, look, it's too short. Oh, well, that's okay. Should have measured ahead of time. I didn't think of that. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. So for this one, though, instead of using a die, we'll use a punch. So we're going to punch something out for that one. So what we will do is, how about for this one, we'll do two small things and punch them out. So we have, how about itty bitty birthdays? Instead of birthdays, let me see one other thing, if I can grab my other one. My itty bitty greetings. Because that has a lot of them too that are very, you can use them for all different types of occasions. So this one, you could use, hope you're feeling better. Sent with love. A little hello. These have a lot of really nice ones. I'm just trying to decide what it is I want to use. Best wishes from all of us. Oh, you know what I can do? So Donna shared earlier that you could send cards to Alex Trebek. So how about I'm going to make one of these and send it? And we'll say best wishes from all of us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign the card for myself. And then I'm just going to add from all of you who watch. So we'll do that. Best wishes and sending prayers. That sounds a little goofy. I don't really know, but that's okay. I am sometimes a little goofy, so that's okay. So we have best wishes from all of us and sending prayers. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to punch both of these out with the, oh, if I can fit this one, we'll see if I can. With the classic label punch. I know the sending prayers one will, so I'm going to try to keep them a little closer to where I can actually get my punch in. So when you're feeding your punch, remember, you can kind of only get it a certain way in. So you kind of want to keep them to that spot. So this one will go pretty far in, actually. So we're pretty good with that. So I think we should be able to do one here and then one on this side. So that's going to be my goal. I'm going to do both of these in soft suede just to bring a little bit of that in. And then again, these also are the cling mount, so they have the different things. I didn't put the stickers on the back of these yet because I want to put my stickers on and then add the extra cling mount strips to them. And I just do that by cutting up what I have left from my stamps when I put them together. All right, so let me see if this fits. I know it will fit for the one, but it may or may not fit from the other. So we have sending prayers. Actually, I'm going to move this over a little bit. I just don't want it to be too close. Okay, that's still not so bad. Oh, this one just barely fits. Let's see if I can get this one in here. All right. It's a little crooked for when I stamped it. So when I try to line these up that are like super close, what I usually will do is I'll like just barely squeeze it so I can kind of eyeball the paper. And this is just a little tight, so I'm going to make sure I have that down at the bottom. So let's see, worst case scenario. That's not too bad. That still works. We'll go with that. So I have that. Oh, Tina, you're so nice. I don't think that I'm that much of a gem, but I appreciate those nice words. Thank you very much for saying that. So I'm going to find the other clean side of my sponge, and then just lightly I'm going to just sponge this with a little bit of curry. I don't know anybody who probably hasn't at some point in their life watched Jeopardy, right? I used to watch that and Wheel of Fortune with my grandparents all the time. And then my grandparents also both loved Murder, She Wrote. Oh my gosh, I don't know why. I'm just, at that time, Angela Lansbury drove me bonkers. So they would always be like, we're going to watch that. I'm like, oh, geez. That was probably the one show I didn't like to watch with them. But we also did watch Empty Nest and The Golden Girls religiously. So those, well, those were my favorite. So I'm putting adhesive on the other side of this time because we're going to glue the mosaic paper down. And the mosaic side up, I should say. So I'm just being careful to line this up. And if it is difficult, which this one's giving me a hard time, I'm actually going to just add a little bit of clear glue to the back. Clear glue, liquid glue. That way it kind of gives me a little bit of, if you ever want something to stick and you're afraid that you don't really have the strength with the liquid glue, even though it sticks super well, you can use both because it does let you wiggle it, if you can see. It kind of gives you that spot where you can wiggle it together. Make sure I didn't get any of that on there. And I'm going to do the same where I put my dimensionals on the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just one in the center. I loved Empty Nest, though. The dog Dreyfus always cracked me up, but I really think Golden Girls was my favorite. And now, even if I watch the Golden Girls repeat, it's like I'm right back to however old I was. I don't know. I was obviously much younger, probably 8 or so. And it's kind of funny because when you're older, now you get all the jokes that you never got when you were younger, right? At that time, it just seemed like, and I'm like, what are these people laughing at? But now that you're older, and Blanche and all her escapades. So put that straight across like that. And we're going to put this layer here. Looks pretty nice. And then I'm going to just put, since this isn't shiny like this one, I'm going to just put Fast Fuse on it. But if it were to be shiny, I would definitely use the liquid glue because it sticks to foil and glimmer paper so much better. So put one, let's see what this looks like. One here. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if I think I like this or not. I don't know. We might need something else. That's a lot of, I don't really like those. So I'm going to put these together and put them in the garbage, and we're going to do something different. So let me grab a scrap of vanilla. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one on the outside and I think one on the inside because I think I'll like that better. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to grab my soft suede and I'm going to do the best wishes. And I probably could have kept that little sending prayers, but I'm going to stamp that on a different one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that on inside panel. I'm just going to make that on inside panel instead. I'm going to grab a little punch for this. So I think this one is pretty nice. Maybe Modern Label. I can't remember right now. So I'm going to just pop this in the center. Kind of just make sure it's lined up. Looks pretty good. And then what else do I have over here? So we have that. This was the green, I think. Yeah, a little mint macaron, just a little sponging. Luckily, I grabbed the correct side. So a little bit of sponging there. I'm going to put maybe a little bit of ribbon. This is something new I've been doing lately. So let me see if I have anything that coordinates with this that's not ridiculous. Oh, this might be nice. So this is one of the ribbons. This is the Come Together pack. So what I'm going to do is, this is the satin edged ribbon. So I'm going to do this. So I'm just doing this so I use little pieces. I'm just folding this over. It's probably about a 1/2 inch on each, so about 1 inch total. So I'm going to fold this over like that. All right. And then I'm going to take, I did have them here just a second ago. I'm going to take my glue dots. Nope, I pulled them out, so here they are. I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm actually going to take 2 of them, put them together, and put it kind of on the end. And then I'm going to fold this over. Whoops, come on now. And smush them together, just so this stays folded. That's the only thing I'm going for on that. Same thing again. And fold this over. Just like that. All right, now what I'm going to do, let me close this. I always poke myself with that. I'm going to just put some strong adhesive on the back. And I'm going to just lay this down. See if I like what it looks like. Lay that one down. And same thing, put this one in. So you can kind of flip them over and lay them, or that way it's supposed to make it kind of look like you have one whole piece back there, but you're not using all of your ribbon. So then I'm going to put a little bit more fast fuse on the back. Ooh. I'm just laughing at myself because I have fast fuse all over the place. And I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue here. All right, and then we'll put that there. I have stickies on my finger. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to get that off. You probably could also pop this up if you wanted to, but since I popped this layer up, I didn't do both. But that would probably be a good idea too, because then it would be just a little bit more loft to it. So, and then what we'll do is on the inside, when I finish this one, I will stamp Sending Prayers. So there's another one. So started one way and went a different way, but still 2 fairly simple cards. So then we have this last one, which we're going to do this way. And this one has a little bit bigger of an edge. So these were all 1/8. This is 1/4 bigger. Okay, so let me scoot this 2 up, put this away. And this one. Okay, and then for our last one, let's see if this actually measures correctly across. Oh, look, that's pretty, almost perfect. So for the last one, what we'll do is, we'll do something similar, but instead of putting this one on the center, what we'll do is we're gonna cut a piece out of this, and then we will also layer something else on top of it. So we will do vanilla on the bottom, then we'll have suede, then we'll have DSP, then we'll have whatever we punched out from the suede here, and then we'll have another color on top of it. So we're going to do that way. We just have to figure out what we're going to do. Since I have this punch, I'm just going to go ahead and punch one out of it. Okay. I think you could almost get 2, but not quite exactly. So we will do that here, and I'm just going to put my adhesive on the back of this. So this one you have a little bit more wiggle room with because you have your 1/4 inch piece versus your 1/8. Okay, so there's that. Flip that over. I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensionals up on this one as well. So again, you don't have to do all this embossing if you want to, but I think really with just running something through the machine, it kind of gives a nice look to it with really not a whole lot of effort. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to run this one through with the subtle folder. Oops, that's the wrong folder. The subtle folder is nice because it gives a lot of dimension, but it's not, doesn't really overpower your card or take away from what your card looks like. That's why I really like this folder. If you don't have it, it makes things look so nice just with a little bit of effort. There you can see the texture to that. So that one will be our base. It's going to be underneath here. And then again, I'm just going to set this here for now because I didn't take the backing off yet. So we have this, and then we're going to add something in the center. So we could do a little stitch circle in the center. That would be cute. So let me see. And we'll add a little stitch circle, and we'll add a little bit of ribbon to this as well. Maybe we'll do, this wouldn't match. So I'm going to see if I should have something that is Calypso Coral-esque. Or maybe mint. Oh, you know what we could use? I would say we could use this, but it's a little bit shiny. So instead, what we can do is we could do the flax ribbon, and we'll just color it a little bit. So we'll use this. So I'll pull that one out so we have it. Keep these dots over here as well. So for our sentiment for this one, what is the one set we did not use? We were going to use, we did happy birthday. We want to do something a little bit smaller, so something that's going to fit in a circle. So let me grab my circles. I did keep these handy. So this is also a cool thing to do too. If you have something, maybe you don't know what sentiment you want to use or what will fit, is get your die out and then just see. That's perfect. Enjoy the little things. That'll fit in there. So we're going to use that. So keep this on the side. Let me just pull these couple things over. And we're going to do this on vanilla. But I just need another little piece. Let me see if I have a scrap piece. Just instead of using this full sheet, which I may, nope, I must not have any vanilla that's, any thick vanilla. So I'm just going to go back to a regular small piece of vanilla, especially since it's layering on something. So let's see if this one matches. Perfect. Okay. So for our last one, this one is a photopolymer. So if you've not seen these before, when you have photopolymer, you do have to stamp on a mat to get the best impression. So I'm going to do this one in, again, I'm going to do mint. And then what we'll do is we will color this ribbon. Maybe we could do it. You know what? No, I'm not going to do mint because we're going to have soft suede with cream. And if I did mint on this, I think would be nice. So I'll do mint on the ribbon. So instead, I'm going to do coral. So I just put that away. So I'm going to do coral. So I'm going to grab my little Stampin' Pierce mat, which you can also use to stamp with. It does clean off, so if for some reason you ever get ink on it, you can wipe it right off. So we're going to just put that on there. It's got a little something stuck on it. Try that again. Okay. While I have this out, here's my scrap paper. So I'm just going to let this set for a second. And what we'll do is, you could do this with many different things. You could do this with your blends. So this is light mint macaron. So you could just color it like that. Okay, that's one way. If you wanted a deeper color, you could take your, or let me go one other way first. You could also use your Stampin' Right marker. So we'll go over a little bit. That'll give you a little bit more of a texture to the grainy part. Or you could use your pad directly and just drag across. This will obviously will give you the darkest color. So there's that. You can just decide which one you want to use best, but you could do all three. Since I have this like this, I'm actually going to do the other side a little bit. I'm just going to use the marker. I'm not sure if this would or wouldn't stick, but it just came to me, so I'm going to try it. Let's see. One of these regular shimmer powder. This is copper. I don't remember what color I did for that one. There has to be a regular one up here, unless I added something to it. So I'm going to just do this one with the copper. This is just that shimmer paint that I put in with alcohol. So just for the heck of it. I would normally do it with like the clear one, but I don't know if it will or won't stick or not, but I'm going to spray it. See if it makes it a little shimmery. I'm not sure how it sticks to the ribbon because I've not used it like that before, but you could also use your heat tool to dry it a little bit, but it does have a little teeny bit of a sparkle, but it's not really all that much. So I would say, I don't think that was as impressive as I thought it would be. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. Ooh, cut that. We're a little bit close to the side there, Rach. I'm going to cut this one out, and then we'll put this last one together. So hopefully I have this lined up for the most part where I think it's okay. But we'll find out once we run it through. Whew, just barely. All right, so I'm going to put that on here. And I'm going to take this and trim it. This is almost dry. I'm going to just hit this just for a sec with the heat tool. Just to dry it a little bit. Because if it's not dry, the glue dots will not stick. So keep that in mind. And also when it dries, the color lightens up significantly. So remember that also. And we did like 3 different kinds of ink on here. So we have the alcohol ink and the Stampin' Up marker and the ink pad. So it definitely probably has a different color than if you just did it, if you just picked one and did it. So that's pretty dry, I think, for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to trim this. Now for this one, only because I already colored this whole piece, I'm going to just use the whole thing and just tuck it in the back. So let's see where we have like that. And might need a little bit more. So I'm going to go a little bit less of a bend. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab 2 glue dots and put them on the end. Hopefully they stay where I put them and it's dry enough. Okay. Oh, come on. All right, so I'm going to fold this in just like that and just make sure that I like the way it looks. If it's big enough, that's pretty good. And I'm going to pop this up on a dimensional just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to put a little bit of fast fuse here, just like that. I'm going to put some fast fuse across the center. You could use liquid glue as well, kind of whatever you want to do. I'm going to flip this over like that, and then I'm going to use the dark dimensionals just so it hides it a little better. So and I'm going to put one in the middle. Oh, come on. Okay, so there's that. Let me just put this together. Again, I am going to use the liquid glue for this because it does have texture. It will stick better. Just put that in the center. And take the backing off of my dimensionals. Okay. Oh, that was almost upside down. Hopefully this isn't too big because I didn't even think about the size of this. So, no, that's not too bad. I mean, it's a little bit, maybe I would have picked a smaller punch. Would have been potentially a good idea, but too late now. That's okay. I still like the way it turned out. Or maybe you would have picked like white and then like a little bit bigger of a dark stitch circle and then vanilla. But otherwise, I think they turned out really cute considering. Let me get all this stuff out of the way so you can see what we did here. So 3 fairly simple cards if you have a plan. So now that you know what the plan is, you could make these pretty simply without having to think about it. Again, we only used one strip of DSP for this. So we cut it at 3 and then we cut it 4 and 4. So we have 1, 2, 3 cards. I definitely pulled in a lot of scraps of paper that I had laying around. As you can see, this one doesn't go all the way to the edge. So this was just a scrap. We did a little bit of embossing, kind of bumped it up a notch for these background pieces. This one used the pine wood planks and then subtle folder for both of those. We used the paper. So this piece, again, came from the underneath piece. This punch piece came from the underneath piece. Same with this punch here. I definitely think I'm going to pull this if I can get it off, because I think it looks better popped up. So I'm going to actually do a little surgery here and put some dimensionals onto the back of this instead. Those, and I'm going to do 2 because I pulled it apart just so it doesn't lose its shape, because I think the way it's taped down, it kind of looks like it's suffocating, and that I don't like that. I wouldn't want my cards to suffocate. I know that sounds ridiculous, but do you know that feeling when you see something that's too tight or too small and it kind of gives you like the whew? So that's how I felt about that little thing, was all smushed down there. So I think that looks a little better. So really fun cards. Hopefully you already have this DSP. If not, don't forget, we do still have the buy 3 get 1 free on the DSP. I am 99% certain that this is one of the ones that's included. You can pick 3 cheaper DSPs and use the expensive one for your free one. I'm fairly certain that you can do that, if I'm not mistaken. I thought someone had mentioned that as well. So you can get your more expensive one as your 4th free one. That ends September 30th. It does not include the holiday catalog DSPs, unfortunately. It's almost all of the annual catalog DSPs. So really easy. And again, we don't even have the stamp set to match. These are completely different stamps. I didn't even use the stamp set that coordinates with the suite. So very easy to use if you ask my opinion. Also, if you don't already have it, this is huge, the stamp cleaning pad. It works really, really, really well. I have no idea what type of chemical is in this, but it is amazing. It has gotten some stamps that I have used like years ago and I couldn't get clean. It's gotten them clean, so really helpful for that. Also, if you are shopping, I would truly appreciate if you shop with me. I will just tell you, let me write it down real quick because I did not have it written down. I haven't been doing that lately because I know a lot of times people either have already gotten stuff or else I just happen to forget. But let me, and I'll put this in a nice color. The host code for this month is GQN. And if you'd like to also, you can see my shopping specials on my blog, 3B6. So if you shop with me and you use this host code, you will always earn a reward. I do put a new one every month. I have new specials on my blog, so you can always go to my blog to check out the specials for the month. Every order gets a free tutorial, and then as you go from there, we do send out thank you cards for every single order, no matter how small. I do that personally. I don't have a helper. I don't know. I said we. Me and myself and I do all that stuff. But anyway, once again, if you know Jewel Easterling or Deborah Hedrick, make sure you tag them because they were the winners of the 2 cards from last week. So thank you all so much for joining. I will attempt to do another live one day this week. I don't know exactly which one, and I don't know if it'll be here or on YouTube. But again, you can find me on all platforms as Rach the Stamper. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week and take care of yourself.